people. We're just going to get out of here tonight. All right. So this next section is an overview of the market and how we do things at the Sedalia Area Farmers Market. Our schedule is 3 to 6 p.m. on Tuesdays and Fridays through the Missouri State Fair, and Fridays only after the fair. Our opening day this year is Friday, May 1st, so as early as we could be, and our last day is Friday, October 30th. Please remember that consistent vendor turnout yields consistent customer turnout. So hit and miss does not work well for farmers markets. We need to be as reliable as a grocery store. That is our primary competition. Remember that we're a producer-only market. That means that whatever you would sell at the market, that you need to be the producer of that item or those items. Once again, our membership and application fee, the annual membership is $80. If you're applying to the market for the first time, there's a $40 non-refundable application fee. And once we come out and visit your place, whether it's a garden or a kitchen, whatever it may be, that if you're approved, the $40 applies to your annual membership fee, so you just owe the $40 again after that. So we have a vetting process at the market. Years ago when we first got started, we did not vet vendors. We took all comers. And so but we quickly learned that that works to a certain point, and we want everybody to be successful in the market. We encourage competition, but not so much competition that nobody can really make a good living doing the market. So we take all the applications, they're all due March 1st, and we have a vetting group, a vendor vetting group, who will look at all of those and determine what holes we have at the market that we could possibly fill with the applications, and see who might be coming into the season later. But it's a whole process. We have a lot of fun with it, but it's also sometimes a tough process because you'll have to tell inevitably some people no, because we just don't have a space for them that year. So anyway, like I said, turning in an application is not necessarily an approval of being at the market. We try to be very fair to everyone. We try to create healthy competition, but not, again, so much that you can't be successful at the market. Are there any questions on that process? Okay. A special note, we take safety very seriously. Many of our market vendors have children who are playing and walking around at the market, and so we want to, and then we have customers who start arriving early. They know the opening bell is at 3 o'clock, but they may start getting there around 2:30, and they want to browse and see what is available. So we ask that everybody be in their places, in their stalls, parked by 2:30. Doesn't mean you have to be completely set up by 2:30. But that you're there, you're parked, and any foot traffic would be safer because everybody is already driven in and is in their spots. So on our daily fees, in addition to your annual fee, there are daily fees. They are the same during the fair, and I point that out for those of you that don't know. When we're not in the pavilion, the fees are the same. There's a lot of work that goes into getting set up when we're not in the pavilion that we don't have otherwise, so the fees just stay the same. Note that for the first time since we've been in the pavilion, the Missouri State Fairgrounds is raising the rent for the pavilion. So they are raising the non-electric stalls to $10, and that, which means our rent is that we charge you $15 and a minimum of $15. And for electric, the fairgrounds is charging us $15, so ours is $20. A minimum of 20. If you have more than one stall, it raises the minimum accordingly. Are there any questions on that? We never like raising our rates, but when our costs increase, that we have to hand that on. Highlights of the rules. The golden rule is the governing rule at the farmers market. It's very important that we treat other people like we want to be treated, that we be helpful to others at the market, whether it's setting up a table, whether it's unloading, whether it's loading back in, if the storm comes up, helping to hold people's items down on the tables. It's really important that we help one another, that we are in competition with one another in some ways, but also a healthy, friendly competition. So it's when one person succeeds at the market, we're all more successful. We ask that you check into the vendor group page on Facebook or text us by 4:00 p.m. the day prior to the market. Tegan will be working on the newsletter that goes out that evening, and it is very important that you let us know. And we don't want to have to chase you down. It's very important that just put that on your calendar on Monday evening, afternoon at 4, and on Thursday evening at 4. Note on your calendar that you need to have checked in with Tegan, either on the Facebook page or on the market's phone line by text, that whether or not you're going to be at the market, and if there's anything that you want us to highlight that's new that you're bringing, we want to add that to the newsletter. After we know who all's going to be there, we develop the stall map, and we'll post the stall map on the group page when that's developed, so you'll know before you come to the market where you will be. It's not guaranteed, but usually, I mean, sometimes people can't come for whatever reason last minute, and that happens sometimes, but we expect people to follow through and, again, be in place by 2:30 p.m. No shows, it's very much frowned upon. We do understand that there are emergencies sometimes and folks can't be there. So we encourage you to let us know as early as possible so we can let folks know if you're not going to be there, because I guarantee that somebody will come looking for you and say, you said in your newsletter that so-and-so is going to be here. And so we like to give people as much a heads up as possible if that's not going to be the case. In case you have any issues, we ask that you come to us first, of course, come to the market manager, Tegan, first, and let her know if you've got any issues. We also, if we need to come to it, we have a grievance form that's in the rules and regulations handbook that you're encouraged to use. And also follow safety rules just like you would at a swimming pool. So just observe common sense safety, please. All right, so Benita is going to come up and give us Marketing 101 from a vendor perspective. Thank you, Benita.
Okay. I don't know how many of you have social media. Most of you. There's a few of you that don't. We have 4 socials. You know, they do a really good job of marketing us. Tegan's marketing us like crazy. Marissa can tell you, anytime we post something, Tegan is sharing. So during the summer, during the market season, when you get it out there, it'll go on the market page, it'll go into the community group and all that. We have, of course, our special events every Friday, Little Sprouts. First Friday of the month is always artisan vendors and stuff like that. So marketing is important. Most of you know that we live close to a couple large produce auctions. And since we're a producer-only market, you know, no reselling is allowed, except in special cases, and we'll cover that in a minute. But we ask that while we don't require you to let us know if you're going to go to the produce auction. We go to the produce auction sometimes. We've supplemented our pumpkins for other fall events we do, stuff like that. But if you can let Tegan or one of the Bev or somebody know if you're going to be there, that way if somebody asks a question, well, hey, I saw so-and-so over at the produce auction, they must be reselling. Well, no, she can say, no, they went to pick up pumpkins for so-and-so, or they were selling items there, or whatever. That gives them a good, you know, so be mindful of that.
Let us know early.
Let them know early. There are actually markets close that you're required to let them know before you go. There are some markets in the area that require that, right, Matt?
So please, please, please let us know.
Let you know, yeah. But, you know, like we may end up going and picking up a few plants here before too long. So we can kind of talk about farmers market. Well, let me jump back to social media a little bit more. You don't have to jump back, but I kind of will. Let's think about what we're posting. Look at what your pictures and your videos through the eyes of the consumer. What are they seeing in the background? You know, does it look clean? Would they want to buy from you? I mean, we all have those places in our homes, or I'm sure, or on our farms or whatever, that you don't necessarily want other people to see. But, you know, make sure it's clean. Make sure you're following good food safety rules. All of the above, you know, that kind of thing. Posting consistently 2 or 3 times a week gets you in the algorithm more. And the more we interact with each other's social media, the more it'll help everybody get into the algorithm and help the market get into the algorithm. And Taylor left, but she always accuses me of using Jackson to get engagement and to get in and get reach on our feed.
Jackson being their grandson.
Jackson is my grandson. Kids and dogs. You know, kids and dogs, they'll get you in there. So people want to see your...
But not dogs in the kitchen.
Not dogs in the kitchen. No. Yeah, no dogs in the kitchen. But I attended a marketing thing one time, and they talked about social media being like your front porch. And you know, we used to sit on people's front porch. That's how we got to know each other. And our customers are there for the experience and to support us. So the more you can share, you know, you don't have to be share a lot of private stuff, but let them see the behind the scenes. And it doesn't always have to be, well, this week we're bringing this, you know. Throw in a reel or a video of something funny that happened, or just, you know, just whatever.
Right.
Because that helps out.
It does, and I think you raised a good point that show the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Because they want to see you're human.
Yes,
you know.
and it really does make people want to support you more. Matt and Kim have posted failures. Rich and Benita and Taylor have posted failures. And Jill is good at posting failures and saying, man, I thought this was going to work out, and it really just did not. But people really appreciate seeing that, how hard you work.
And it's about that relationship that they build with you. And a lot of you veteran vendors remember from a couple years ago when Zach got hurt in a bad accident in July. And we didn't know what our market was going to look like. So we were very open about that. Our son was in a bad car accident. And so we were in and out and made it as we can. But that happened in July. The next May, when market opened, most of our first questions from our customers were, how was he doing? How did his recovery come? Because he was recovering through, you know, it's about the relationships you build with your customers. And that's the kind of customers we have at the market. So,
right. Get to know their names. They'll get to know yours.
we don't know all their names. We have their own little names in our heads. You know, we know who we're talking about.
Right, crazy bag lady.
Yeah, exactly. The mountain woman.
Right,
You know?
right, exactly.
You know,
Yes.
so, yeah, but we love them all, so.
Yeah, and do let your customers get to know you, because that
Yeah.
really is what sets us apart from
A grocery store, yeah.
One of the statistics that I love the most is that if a person uses a grocery store, they have on average not even two social interactions. And I could go in one and not have one social interaction now when you do the self-checkout. But when you come to a farmer's market, people have on average 15 social interactions by going from stall to stall to stall, seeing other customers. And I do see that is something that our customers really love, is that it is a social place and that they can meet up with friends, make friends with the vendors. It is just a happy place. And we ask that all of our vendors value that as well and treat the customers accordingly, and each other.
Something we've really noticed that a lot of our customers use it as teaching their kids to shop. They allow them to make their first purchases and transactions on their own and stuff. We get quite a bit of that. So.
Yes, and Little Sprouts does a great job of connecting that, showing them where their food comes from.
Yeah. So, okay, now let's
Okay,
get back.
all right.
Okay, farmers market stands. I know Kirk said, you know, we kind of brushed on the stuff on the ground and stuff like that. But as you can see this stand here, it would be much better if you had a table covering and stuff and had all that hidden. You know, you want to have your stuff neat and behind, stack up your empty boxes, your empty totes, hide them if you can. And, oh, look at that pretty one.
Right, yeah.
Matt's so good.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
there's a kind of a saying in the produce side, pile it high and watch it fly. You know, you want to bring some height to your booth. Nobody likes to buy the last of anything. I don't know why. It'll lay there and you'll take it home almost every time. You know, so the more you can bring, the more you can make things full, moving stuff around, condensing stuff down as you sell down. You know, that's kind of how.
Right, yeah, if you start out with, say, 3 tables full of stuff, as you go along, you know, consolidate, like Benita said, and start taking tables down. Because for some reason, psychologically, that fullness attracts people, it's abundance. And like she said, if there's just one item laying there and maybe one over here on this table, that you're probably going home with.
Yeah, more often than not, you go home.
People think there's something wrong with it. but
It's just kind of wild.
It is.
And I'll kind of touch on this too with Matt and Kim's booth. You know, they always use the burlap for tablecloths and stuff. And we have our wood look tablecloths, and that's kind of our brand at the market. And if you can come up, well, there's our wood look, that's not at the market, but that's actually Stover at the Rock Island Fest a couple years ago. But, yeah, we have the wood look tablecloths. You know, think of a way to to brand your booth so people can come look for you, because you'll be surprised, aren't you? I get all the time asked if we do the fried pies. I don't know why. People don't remember, but if you can make your booth look consistent, kind of have a brand of some sort, you know, people will learn how to look for you, stuff like that.
Right. And also important to know, like Matt and Kim are using the burlap tablecloths and Benita with her woodlock. It's advised to have a not busy tablecloth because your product can kind of disappear into a busy pattern. So you want it to pop off the tablecloth visually. And if you have a tablecloth that's got a lot going on, it's easy to lose it in there.
And if you can use something like in these pictures that goes to the floor, you can stuff all kinds of stuff under your tables, store stuff under your tables, you know, that hides all that. And that's great, especially in, well, we have a lot of room, but sometimes you need the.
Right, and back yonder has tailored tablecloths that have sewn corners on them, so it helps them to stay down in the wind. It's a nice little investment. Obviously, they're a little more than
There's a whole lot of
regular tablecloths, but they do last. And
yeah, I've been using ours since 2019.
yeah, so they're durable, and it's a good little investment, and they stay down in the wind because they're in the pavilion. We're pretty sheltered, but sometimes the wind does blow through there pretty good, and when the fans are on, when it's super hot, it's nice to be able to have your tablecloth stay down and not expose what's under your table.
Yes, don't want to see that.
Right, exactly.
Okay, when you come to market, what to bring? Cash box and adequate change. Don't forget it at home. Market doesn't have change. Now, with that to say, vendors are always helping each other out with change and stuff like that. You know, we make it work if we have to. Credit card reader. Most everybody takes their own credit cards or takes credit cards themselves, although Bev will cover tokens here in a little bit and talk about how the market runs cards and stuff. But highly, highly suggest you get with Square or somebody so you can take cards, because the amount of add-on purchases you get if they can run a card is, a lot of the times, makes a big difference. So you'll need tables and rubber bands and twist ties and signage, pins, you know, a book, produce bags, baskets, boxes, all that stuff, business cards, scale, water, etc. And something signs made me think about, make sure that you have signs on your tables with prices. People don't want to walk up and ask. I mean, I'm the same way if I'm at some event. I don't want to walk, if I want to be able to read it and see if it's something I'm interested in, if I can afford it. you know, and I'll walk on. So make sure that
Yeah,
it's,
it's surprising how many people are afraid to ask how much something is, and we
or
do.
even don't want to walk up and look at a price on a
Right,
product,
right.
you know.
So have your prices very visible, because it will help your sales.
It will. And like with us, we put our, like on our bread sign, we have our sign so we can change our flavors for whatever we have that day. So people, because it'll catch their eye, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, and see, we have that. So,
Okay, any questions on the marketing aspect? Okay, all right. Okay, so market tokens, we did not invent this idea, we borrowed it from other markets, but it really works well. So if people do not bring cash to the market, or you don't take checks, people can come to the market booth and we will run their debit, credit, or SNAP card and give them tokens that they can spend at the market. It's a great way to, like Benita said, be able to enhance your sales by doing that. So I'm going to pass these around. Matt, Cisco will start over there. So the various types of tokens are available that we have are in that bag. So the EBT SNAP tokens come in $2 increments, but we also have in that bag, you'll see just below that, the $1 increment SNAP. So we ask that you price your items accordingly so that you can round to a nice $1 or $2 so that they can use all of their SNAP funds and not lose out on any product because of it. So the SNAP tokens, just like in the grocery store, you're allowed to spend them on all food items except hot prepared food items. Veggies, fruits, eggs, meats, baked items, plants that produce food. Things that aren't allowed are the non-food items and the hot prepared foods, like soaps, hot foods, pet foods, and non-food items. The token at the bottom, the debit token, come in $5 increments. They spend just like $5 bills. You can give cash back on those, so change on those. You cannot give change on the SNAP items. That is not permitted. That's why we have the $1 increment on there. And then in the upper left corner, those are double up food bucks. The one that's coming around is a turquoise colored token, which is what we had last year. And they're switching back to purple tokens this year. So double up food bucks is a program where it's a USDA grant, and folks that are SNAP eligible can come to the market, slide their SNAP card at the market, and we give them these SNAP tokens, and then we give them up to $25 in double up food bucks token, which are the plastic tokens. Those are $1 increments, and it says it on there, so you'll know. But we can match up to $25 per market day, and the double up food bucks are only for vegetables and fruits or plants that grow vegetables and fruits. So it's really nice because it leaves them more money to spend elsewhere at the market while they're still getting a very healthy product to take home with them from the market with the double up food bucks. So this year only, the turquoise tokens can be accepted and the purple tokens. So they're going to phase out the turquoise ones as we bring them in and you turn them in at the end of the day. Those turquoise tokens are going to be taken out of circulation, but for this year only, we can take both colors, the turquoise and the purple tokens. Okay? That's to do this year. Marla?
I know I can't take the food stamp ones, but like if somebody were to give a vendor the $2 token and you have somebody else before had given you a $1 one, you can give them change. You can give them that little $1 thing back, right?
Yeah, there's not a problem
Okay.
with doing that. That's fine. Ellen?
Are the purple tokens you said you have this year, Are they the same as they were 2 years ago, or do we have to watch that they're not using the old ones?
Yeah, they're the same.
They're exactly the same.
Right, yes, exactly.
So what they had some saved back from 2 years ago, they can go on and use them again this year.
Right, yes,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Yes, if we had known that this was coming, then we could have told people to just hold on to them, but yeah, so.
Well,
or-
last year I
yeah,
had somebody want to use the purple tokens, and
Right, and they weren't allowed
I
last
know,
year.
and I told them,
so-
that. They argued with me, said somebody else did, and I was wondering.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think I went to your table and, made sure, because
Right.
to satisfy them, that
Yes,
they weren't
yeah.
allowed.
So this is a new round of grants. They recognize that there's several different colors of tokens out there. And so that's why they're allowing this 1-year exception to allow the turquoise tokens to come in and be spent, as well as the new purple tokens. And we'll remind you of that again as the market approaches. Any questions on that process? Okay, so at the end of each market day, vendors complete this vendor token and fees form. The top half of the form is where you account for all of the tokens that you've taken in during the day. The $1 snap, which is the paper one, the $1 double up food bucks, which is the plastic ones, the $2 snap tokens, which are the wooden ones with the purple prints, and then the $5 debit tokens. So you'll put the quantity here, multiply, and put the dollar amount here, and carry it down to the bottom for your total for the day. And we'll count them too. When you bring them to the market table, we'll double check your math, and we'll make sure that we agree on not only the amount, the quantity, but also on the dollar amount. And usually with the two of us, we get it right. So. And then this is also your daily fee accounting. So your daily fee is the minimum or the greater of 3% of the day's gross sales, or this will be changed for this year. So it'll be $15 for non-electric and $20 for electric stall. And so you'll calculate your fee and put it in there and issue check to name. So this is however you want. We're not issuing checks anymore, except with limited circumstances. But please put your name in there so that we know who it's going to, because sometimes we don't know your signature down here. We'll sign off as well. And then, so we collect those all month, and then we issue payment to you by the 10th of the following month. So, any questions on that? We have what we call a Melio payment, and it's just the name of the service, Melio, M-E-L-I-O, and we do ACH payments directly deposited to you, so you can have them within 3 business days of when we enter them in the system. There's some folks that are still doing paper checks, and we're trying to phase that out, so if you can switch to that, that's great, but if you don't have the capability, that's fine too. But we encourage everyone to do ACH. Seems like the U.S. Postal Service is getting less and less reliable. So if you can switch to ACH, that's terrific. Any questions? Okay, so just a quick overview of the market funding. The budget for the market is about $20,000 a year. About 2/3 of that comes in is through vendor stall fees and annual membership fees. The rest of that, though, that gap is closed through sponsorships and grants. These have been our partners for a very long time. Both the top two, Bothwell and MFA Agri-Services, have been with us since the very beginning, sponsoring us year after year after year. Brian Jenkins always sponsors opening day at the farmers market. And then this is my family's company, Robert Owens Architects, and we've been with us since the beginning. So. But those sponsors, along with daily sponsors, help close that gap to try to keep your vendor fees as reasonable as possible. Our only paid position is our halftime market manager. The rest of us are volunteers at the market, board members, and we have some volunteers that are phenomenal. They're not on our board, but they also are at the market and making it go without, just because they love local food. And so be sure and thank them, please, because sometimes it's a thankless job, and some days it's super hot, some days it's super cold. So recognize that they're out there just because they love the markets, and it really goes a long way to hear a thank you from the vendors and customers. Benefits of being a market member, like Benita said, that we have a network